Ever wondered how the food tasted in the Middle Ages or in ancient Rome? What were the common ingredients and what did a typical meal look like? Well, you're about to find out. Welcome to our journey through time, where we'll delve into the gastronomic realm of bygone eras. The cuisine of past periods is a fascinating subject, a sensory time capsule that allows us to explore history through the lens of food. Each era had its own unique culinary practices, influenced by the cultural, social, and economic circumstances of the time. From the hearty stews of the Middle Ages to the exotic delicacies of ancient Rome, food has always been a reflection of the period it originated from. By understanding these historical cuisines, we not only learn about the dishes and ingredients of the past, but also gain insight into the people and societies that created them. So, are you ready? Embark with us on a fascinating journey through time, exploring the food and flavors of bygone eras. Food is more than just sustenance. It's a reflection of the times and the society in which it is consumed. As we delve into the past, we find that cuisine has always been a mirror of its era, shaped by the historical context. This is a journey into the past, a taste of history. Picture a bustling marketplace in the Middle Ages. The air is filled with the aroma of spices from far-off lands, brought by traders following the Silk Roads. The culture of the time was heavily influenced by these trade routes. Spices were not just ingredients, they were status symbols demonstrating wealth and connection to the wider world. The wealthy indulged in heavily spiced dishes, while the less fortunate made do with simpler, local ingredients. Social stratification played a significant role in the culinary landscape. The wealthy could afford exotic ingredients and the time for elaborate preparation, while the common folks' diet consisted largely of grains, vegetables, and occasionally meat. This disparity was a reflection of the societal structure, with the rich feasting on refined dishes while the poor subsisted on more humble fare. The economic situation also had a profound impact on the cuisine. In times of abundance, tables were laden with a variety of dishes. But in times of scarcity, creativity was key. People had to make do with what was available, leading to the creation of some of the most iconic dishes. Think of the humble pot pie, born out of the need to make the most of leftovers. As we move forward to the Renaissance, we find a shift in culinary practices. The discovery of the New World brought new ingredients like tomatoes, potatoes, and corn. These novel additions transformed European cuisine, leading to the creation of dishes that we still enjoy today. In every era, the cuisine was a reflection of the prevailing cultural, social, and economic conditions. It tells a story of survival, innovation, and adaptation. It's a testament to the human spirit, a celebration of our shared history. Understanding the context gives us a deeper appreciation of the culinary practices of the era. So, as we embark on this gastronomic journey, let's remember that every bite is a taste of history. The ingredients and culinary techniques of an era are shaped by its geographical location, climate, and available resources. To truly unearth the culinary secrets of a historical period, we must venture into its larder. The available ingredients speak volumes about the region's geography, climate, and trade connections. In the Middle Ages, for instance, the common folk relied heavily on grains. Barley, rye, and oats were staples, while wheat, a symbol of affluence, was reserved for the wealthy. Root vegetables such as turnips and parsnips were also prevalent, often used in hearty stews and soups. Spices, though scarce and considered a luxury, were a defining feature of ancient Roman cuisine. Traders brought back pepper, cinnamon, and saffron from distant lands, adding new dimensions to the flavors on Roman tables. Meanwhile, in the Renaissance, the introduction of New World foods like tomatoes, potatoes, and maize revolutionized European kitchens, influencing dishes still popular today. Culinary techniques, too, tell a fascinating story. The Middle Ages saw the widespread use of open hearth cooking. Foods were either roasted on spits or cooked in large iron cauldrons. Ancient Romans, however, had a penchant for boiling and stewing, often using terracotta pots. The Renaissance brought advancements in kitchen technology, including the invention of the enclosed oven, which allowed for more controlled cooking methods like baking and roasting. Food preservation was an essential skill in times without modern conveniences. Salting, smoking, and pickling were common ways to extend the shelf life of perishable foods. In ancient Rome, fish sauce known as garum was not only a beloved condiment, but a clever way to preserve surplus fish. In the Middle Ages, fruits were often preserved in honey, while the Renaissance saw the advent of bottling for preserving vegetables and fruits. The clever use of available ingredients, coupled with innovative cooking and preservation techniques, created a rich tapestry of flavors and dishes, each telling their own story of survival, adaptation, and invention. These unique ingredients and techniques gave the cuisine of this era its distinctive character. Let's dive into the gastronomic delights of the era, exploring the typical dishes consumed during different meals. Our first stop is breakfast. The day would often start with a hearty bowl of pottage. This was a thick soup or stew made with grains, vegetables, and occasionally a bit of meat. Pottage was a staple, not just for breakfast, but for any meal, providing essential nutrients and energy for the day. Moving on to lunch, a typical dish might be a trencher. This was a thick slice of stale bread used as a plate, loaded with meats, cheeses, and whatever else was available. Now remember, the concept of food waste was alien to our ancestors. After the meal, the trencher, soaked with juices and flavors, was not discarded but eaten or given to the less fortunate. As the day wore on, we reached dinner. The main meal of the day, dinner was a grand affair, especially for the wealthy. A typical dish could be a roasted boar, a symbol of abundance and wealth. This would be slow-cooked over an open fire until juicy and tender, then served with a variety of sides like roasted root vegetables and fresh bread. Now, let's not forget about desserts. A popular sweet treat was a honey cake, made with honey, flour, and spices. These cakes were often served at feasts and celebrations, signifying joy and prosperity. Each of these dishes was more than just sustenance. They were a reflection of the era's culinary techniques, available ingredients, and the society's cultural and economic status. The preparation was meticulous, the presentation grand, and the flavors, well, you can only imagine. From the humble pottage to the grand roasted boar, these dishes paint a vivid picture of the past. They tell a story of survival, of celebration, of community. They remind us that food is not just about feeding the body, but also about nourishing the soul. These dishes offer a glimpse into the culinary genius of the era. Food is not just about what we eat, but also how we eat it. The table traditions and eating habits of bygone eras were a reflection of the society and the times. Let's take a closer look. In the Middle Ages, for instance, the dining table was a stage where societal roles were enacted. Aristocrats held grand banquets, not just to enjoy a feast, but to display their wealth and power. They dined on elaborate dishes, while the less fortunate often had simpler meals. In ancient Rome, shared meals were significant. They were an opportunity for communities to come together, reinforcing social bonds. The act of breaking bread together held symbolic importance. Eating habits were also influenced by the availability of food and the changing seasons. Preservation techniques like pickling and smoking came into play, affecting not just the menu, but also the way people ate. The table traditions and eating habits of the era reflect the societal norms and values of the time. Every era has its unique culinary curiosities and anecdotes. Let's delve into some fascinating tidbits from our chosen historical period. In the Middle Ages, for instance, did you know that forks were considered scandalous? They were associated with the devil because of their pronged design, resembling the devil's pitchfork. Imagine eating your pasta with just a knife and spoon. Or let's hop over to ancient Rome, where flamingo tongues were a cherished delicacy. Yes, you heard that right, flamingo tongues. They were a symbol of wealth and power, only served at the tables of the rich and powerful. Fast forward to the Renaissance, where it wasn't uncommon to witness a peacock served whole at a banquet. Not just the meat, but the entire bird, feathers and all, for a dramatic presentation. These curiosities give us a glimpse into the diverse and sometimes unusual culinary practices of the past. These fun facts and stories add a dash of spice to our culinary journey. Our culinary journey through time has been a feast for the senses. We've delved into the past, uncovering the flavors and techniques that defined different eras. From the diverse ingredients to the distinct culinary practices, we've seen how each historical period had its unique gastronomic identity. This exploration reminds us that food is not just about sustenance. It's a reflection of our culture, our society, and our history. Exploring historical cuisines gives us a taste of the rich tapestry of human history. Thank you for joining us on this fascinating culinary journey. We've traversed time and tasted history, all from the comfort of our kitchens. If this gastronomic adventure has stirred your curiosity, we encourage you to share this video with fellow food enthusiasts. Subscribe to our channel and join us as we continue to explore the delicious stories of the past. Stay tuned for more culinary explorations. Until next time, bon appétit!